I don't know about you, but I always have an awkward zucchini left in the fridge, and I have no idea what to do with it. But maybe these Korean recipes can be of inspiration. So a common zucchini banchan is a stir-fry made with preserved shrimps called 새우젓. I love it, but a lot of people don't like the funk. So I'll make a slightly mellower version using fish sauce. Take your squashes and slice into discs. Place them in a roasting pan and generously coat each piece with vegetable oil and sesame oil. You can just fry them in a pan, but they will sputter a bit, I've warned you. Place in a hot oven for about 15 minutes. When they look like that, leave them aside. No, it's not burnt. What we want is that almost burnt/caramelized sweetness, and those brown bits do exactly that. Now for the dressing. In a bowl, add 2 or 3 tablespoons of fish sauce, a little less of sesame oil, and a generous tablespoon of minced garlic. You can also add in as little or as much Korean chili powder you want. Cover and microwave for about 30 seconds. That'll take the edge off the garlic and the fish sauce. And now throw in the roasted squash and voila! You can eat this with rice by itself, but my favorite way is to mix with any noodle of your choice. It's like the Korean recipe of that zucchini and lemon pasta recipe that went crazy 2 years ago. But now a more traditional recipe, specifically a pork and zucchini stew made in the Jeonla province and around the city of Gwangju in particular. Well, the actual squash of choice should be a stubbier and starchier squash called chojanhobak, but good luck finding that. Anyhow, take your zucchinis and chop into thick matchsticks. Do the same to a couple of spring onions. If you have it around, mushrooms and carrots would be welcome additions. Now the protein. A pound of pork shoulder with a good amount of fat. You could substitute the protein, I suppose, but then it'll be a completely different dish. Like beef for a beef bourguignon or chicken for merk makhani or buttered chicken. The protein defines the dish. Slice into the size of your veggies and gently brown in a pot with a little oil. Now we have to talk about this. Gochujang, or Korean chili paste. Surprisingly, this is not used as much as you think in traditional Korean cooking. I mean, it's still used a lot, but in more subtle ways. This stuff can easily overpower, and if used too much, the finished dish can have what Koreans call top-top-ham, which is that claggy, bitter aftertaste you get from undercooked roux, or when you put too much spice powder in a curry. So for this much stew, we're only putting in barely a tablespoon. Fry gently with the pork, careful not to burn. When it's just about to stick to the bottom, deglaze with a couple tablespoons of soy sauce. Now switch off the flame and stir in 2 tablespoons of Korean chili powder and a tablespoon of minced garlic. This stuff can burn in a jiffy, so we're playing it safe. When the chili powder is mixed in, pour in about 5 cups of water, give it a stir, and let it gently simmer for about an hour and a half. When the pork is tender, throw in the vegetables. If we threw in the vegetables earlier, they'll be mushed by the time that pork is cooked. Give it about 10 more minutes of heat, and it's good to serve. You could serve the stew and rice separately, but the technical name of this dish is 애호박국밥, which literally means rice in soup. So we're serving it together. And definitely overflow the bowl. First, it's the authentic way, and 2, it is that delicious. And speaking of delicious, any vegetable deserves to be shallow fried in batter, don't you think? So that's what we're doing. Take 2 more zucchinis, slice into discs again, chop into thin matchsticks or any small shape you want, really. What you should do is just get a godforsaken box grater, but I lost mine, hence the erratic chopping. I'm sorry. Anyhow, dump into a bowl and add in 2 teaspoons of salt and mix. Yes, that'll pull out the moisture, and yes, that's what we want. We're going to make the batter with the extracted zucchini juice. Pun intended. Neglect the bowl for about 10 or 15 minutes, and you will see a small green puddle gathering at the bottom like that. Now we can add in some powderized carbs, in the form of flour and cornstarch in equal measure. For this much zucchini, I'm adding in a couple tablespoons each until it barely comes together like that. Add in too much, and your pancake will be gummy. Pan on heat, a good glug of vegetable oil, and we're frying, baby. This pancake is called jeon in Korean, and you can do this with pumpkin, spring onion, potato, kimchi, heck, even cabbage. just make sure you press on that batter to make it as thin and even as possible. When the bottom looks golden and the pancake holds its shape, do a mandatory flip. The trick is quick and firm. Remember, all pancakes can sense your fear. Cook the other side for a couple minutes too and serve. You can dip some soy sauce if it isn't salty enough, but make sure you have a cold one nearby. Trust me, you'll need it.